Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Hi, I am Hannah. Talk about books constantly. It is probably my only personality trait. That mixed with Vine references, TikTok sounds. Welcome to my channel. Today I thought it would be very fun to talk about some fantasy books that I'm obsessed with. Now, I just started reading fantasy back in March. Wasn't big into fantasy, did not grow up reading fantasy. I grew up reading Mr. Dr. Seuss. Love that man. The Lorax forever has my heart. Did not grow up reading Hunger Games or Divergent, The Fifth Wave. Didn't read any of that stuff. Harry Potter, I had friends that did that, but I was not to that level when it came to reading. When I was in class, I was the anxiety-driven girl where if there was popcorn reading happening, I had to read ahead to know, if I was picked on, exactly what I would be saying and how to pronounce certain words. And if I didn't, I would black out. I literally blacked out when I was reading. You know what? That's not what this video is about. That's too much information. Anyways, today I want to talk about bookmen and fantasies that would literally crawl for their girl and would do anything for her, and it makes me want to live in a fantasy. Now, I've talked before that I probably would not survive in a fantasy novel, and I've come to terms with that. I know that I would be a goner if I was in a fantasy, but if it just so happened that I got a, 6'3", 6'7", muscular man that could protect me, then I think I would have a fighting chance. Here's my nice stack of fantasy books and my love for all of these fantasy men. I would tell everyone how great these men are and how much I want, any of them. I'll settle, just give me one. I mean, I would like maybe a why choose, but I'm not picky. The first one I'm going to talk about is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This man, the things I would do for this man. He is an alpha werewolf leader, and I like to joke that he's the only alpha male that I would want. He is the leader of a werewolf pack, and in order to form an alliance with the werewolves and the vampires, he is then forced into a marriage of convenience, an arranged marriage with the vampire counselor's daughter, and her name's Misery. She is sent to then live with Lo and his pack, and he tries to avoid her, and I love, the only time that I love a man and knowing his thoughts is in a book. You only get her point of view throughout the whole book, but before every chapter, there's a little insert of what he's thinking about her. And it's little crumbs, but I eat it up every single chapter. It's so good. It's very fast paced. It's not crazy to understand. It's not like a world building, high fantasy type book. Very easy, spicy, lovable book. The next one is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I've talked about Kai Azar very often on this channel. He just kind of lives rent free in my head. Love this man. Love him so much. The quotes in this book, I can open this book to any page and something is either underlined or tabbed. It's probably my most tabbed book, I would like to say. Definitely my most underlined, but man, the things that this man says is absurd. He is just swoon-worthy. He would do anything for Peyton. I used to qualify this as an enemies to lovers, but I was new to the game, to the fantasy, to the reading game. This is not an enemies to lovers, I'm gonna tell you this right now. But I did enjoy it. It's kind of not like insta love, but insta attraction. They both find each other attractive, but it's a slow burn, which I enjoy. Cause at least if you're gonna flirt with each other and find each other attractive right away, let's not jump into it right away. Let's have some banter. Let's have some sass. Let's have some I want you but can't have you. And that's what this book is. The next one is a duology. It's one that I want so many people to read because I'm obsessed with this. It is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. I love this duology so much. It was my first gothic fantasy, so it definitely has a place in my heart. It's a magic system that I haven't read yet, and very enjoyable, very easy to understand, because when it comes to certain magic systems, you just don't know if you're gonna understand it. You don't really know if it's more of a world building or, is it more character driven. I just love this. I could picture everything Rachel wrote. I could picture it in my head, and that's kind of hard for me to do when it comes to books with magic. When I read Caraval, I was so confused with the magic system, but with this, it was just so easy to just follow along. I love all of the characters. There's different POVs. It's a journey. Every character in this book goes through a journey, and it's high stakes, high reward, but I love it. It's so good. Raven The things that he would do for Elspeth, he would do anything for her. He would give her the world if she asked for it. He wants to protect her. He wants to love her. He would crawl to her. And then my man Elm, in this second book, he has his own like love interest in this book. He's just so funny. He was a side character in One Dark Window, got more of a part in Two Twisted Crowns, and I love this man. He's hilarious, he's sarcastic, very witty, jokes around. His love interest, he would do anything for her. He wants to do anything for her, and it's so cute, and I love it so much. Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I have mixed feelings about this book as a whole. I did find some parts entertaining. The things that Cardan would do for Jude is just, it's so cute. This is a true like enemies to lovers. Well, is it enemies to lovers? It's more like enemies and then like friendship and an attraction. I loved it. Did not love him at first, but he grew on me. He really did. My man's with the tail. The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is such an amazing book. I need to read the second one because this one left off on a cliffhanger, and I might need to reread it because there's certain plot lines that I believe sets up for the second book that I'm a little fuzzy on. But my man's Rain, I think that's how you say his name. I always say Rain. Could be like Rayon. He forms an alliance with Oriah. She is the only human in this vampire world. Like, there are other humans, but they are considered lesser than. She is kind of the adopted daughter of this councilman again. I'm dying. I just had a cough attack. I'm crying. Anyways, Oriah is the only human that is participating in these trials. It's these trials that take place every century or so. She's the only human, and whoever wins these trials is granted a wish by the vampire goddess. Then she makes an alliance with Rain, and it's friendship, and there's banter, there's cuteness, and there's attraction. There's some spice in this, not too crazy, but I enjoyed it thoroughly. The way that this book ended, my jaw was on the floor, and I'm very shocked that I haven't read the second book, but there's been so many like new releases and other books. I'm a mood reader. I haven't really been in the mood to read it, but I need to read it. Also, I think there's a novella for it, but I heard that the novella doesn't have anything to do with the characters. It's like different characters, so I haven't read it yet, but my man's one. He would do things for my girl Oriah. This one, I'm so excited for because I just read it. Like, I literally just finished it yesterday. The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This is my first time reading The Fourth Wing, and I cannot believe that I am just now jumping on the Xaden train, but I'm aboard and I'm tooting my way through. I love this man with my whole heart. The things that I heard, you know, certain things that I know he does in the book, and there was definitely spoilers that I knew and was ready for in this book, but the things that he says to her and like the bond that they have, just the mouth on this man, like for some reason I'm just, okay, for thoughts, Hannah, process your words. I am so glad that Rebecca, I'm so glad that she made them like a little bit older, like at least early 20s, not like having Violet be 18 or 19. I feel that there's a commonality with fantasies where the female main character is like 18, 19 years old, and then the MMC is hundreds of years old. A weird age gap, and I don't really like that. But I did enjoy this. Xaden is 23, Violet's 20. I liked that aspect. I didn't feel icky reading certain scenes in this book and being like, ugh, they're children, you know? I loved this book. I'm gonna continue to read Iron Flame. I actually listened to the graphic audiobook of this and followed along in the book because my friend recommended me to listen to the graphic audiobook. However, I did want to underline things. I did want to tab, so I followed along with it. And I noticed that in the graphic audiobook, it skipped over so many different paragraphs and small details in the book. I like had to pause the audiobook and be like, okay, where is this located now? And had to like search for it. So I didn't enjoy that, and I don't understand why they skipped so much detail in the book, but I wanted to listen to the graphic audiobook for Iron Flame. However, they don't have it on Spotify. They only had The Fourth Wing first half on Spotify, and then I downloaded Audible, used my free trial credit for the second half of Fourth Wing, and then I realized that I only get 1 credit a month or something for Audible. This is my first time using it, so I'm like, okay, why would I wait another month to pay like what, $15, $16 for half of Iron Flame? Because it's not even like a full audiobook. They split it in half. That doesn't make sense to me. So I started listening to the normal narration of Iron Flame, but after listening to the graphic audiobook and then after listening to other books, I just love duet narration. And so when I hear the girl trying to do a man's voice or trying to do Taryn's voice, I don't like that. Can't do that. So I'm not gonna listen to it, but I've also realized if I don't listen to it or follow along, I get very easily distracted. And Iron Flame is definitely heftier than The Fourth Wing, but I'm making my way through it. I started it today, but I'm in love. The cliffhanger on Fourth Wing, I'm very glad that I don't have to wait like a full year in order to read Iron Flame. So I'm very excited to finish the series. And then the last two I want to talk about are two that I read on my Kindle. The first one is the Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole. I love that book so much. Love female tall representation. I love a baddie who is the villain in the book. You have Samkiel and Diana. They are different species. Like, Samkiel is a legit god. Diana is a monster created by another monster that their ancestors fought. So they're like sworn enemies. But they have to work together in order to accomplish like an end goal. So the enemies then become friends, and then there's like an unlikely little flirtation going on. I love their relationship. I love it throughout the whole book. The way that she pokes fun at him because he's ancient. She tries to talk to him in modern slang, and he's not a funny guy. He's very brooding, and she's just very sarcastic. Samkiel would do anything for Diana. And he does. And I need to continue on with the series because it's so good. The last one I want to talk about is The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. I read the first one and the second one on my Kindle. The Veiled Kingdom is about Dacre, which every single time I was reading that book, I would call him Dacre because it is D-A-C-R-E. Dacre. In the beginning of the book, there's pronunciations of certain names and words. I said, why didn't I see that before? I've been pronouncing his name as Dacre. Like a strawberry daiquiri, you know, but like spelled different. Anyways, this man has a mouth on him. If you want to read a very easy, fast-paced, non-world building, just like short, sweet, and spicy, this is the book for you. There's 2 books out, and I think there's a third one that's going to be coming out this year. They're kind of enemies, but obviously it's the insta-lust, which usually I'm not a fan of, but I think I was craving this type of book in my life during this time period that I started reading it, and I ate it up. It was, again, very easy to understand, easy to follow, short, to the point, left off on a crazy cliffhanger. Then you go to book 2, and the things that he would do for his woman is just, next question. I could not get enough of it. And the cliffhanger on the second book makes me want the third book now. Dacre is the son of the leader of the rebellion. Then you have the FMC. She is the daughter of the king. He's a tyrant king, not a good guy. She runs away because in this kingdom you have powers and she doesn't have powers. So she runs away, then runs into this rebellion. They don't know who she is. She lies about her identity. They take her to this rebellion colony, basically like hidden colony. So she joins the rebellion, but she has no powers, doesn't know how to fight. So what happens? Dacre, the brooding, dramatic, buff, tall man, trains her in fighting, in archery, and he just cannot get enough of her. He wants her desperately. Again, the mouth on this man is pure filth. Like I said, I haven't read much fantasy. I want to continue on with my fantasy journey this year. There's so many fantasy books that I want to read, so I'm very excited. I'm kind of leaning more towards like gothic fantasy. I think that's kind of going to be up my alley, some of the books that I have on my TBR that I want to read. But yeah, those are some of the books that I love the men because they would crawl to their woman to do anything for her, to beg for forgiveness, to protect her. If they're injured, they would still go to her. I will eat it up every single time. If you like this video, please like and subscribe for more videos to come. If you have any recommendations of books that qualify as him wanting to crawl to her, please let me know in the comments down below. I want to add more to my ever-long, continuously expanding TBR list. If you want to follow me on any other social media platforms, I will have them linked down below in the description. And I hope to be seeing you in the next video. Bye!